Yeah, hi everybody. Dr.JW Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. I've come along and found this story. Is it legal for Jehovah Witnesses to proselytize inside CTA stations? Is it legal for Jehovah Witnesses to evangelize inside CTA stations? Well, let's find out. There they are. The funny thing about these people is, especially in Australia, what I found where I live, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to know you. It's a fair-sized story. Let's see how we go. Anyone who regularly takes the L or subway has seen them. They stand quietly smiling with carts of religious publications out on the sidewalk when it's nice out, and in the unpaid area of the station near the ventre machines or turnstiles when the weather is inclement. The women are dressed modestly but sharply, and then the men look natty as well, often wearing sport jackets or fedoras. They are volunteers from the Jehovah Witnesses, a Christian cult that claims 8.4 million members in 240 countries. Though I'm not interested in converting, I sometimes stop and say hello and pick up a copy of the Watchtower Awake out of courtesy, since I find their cheerful vibe oddly comforting. They're certainly more agreeable than the old Navy street preacher who hangs out at Randolph and state railing against fornicators and cigarette smokers. But not everyone appreciates the Jehovah Witnesses' presence at transit stations. Kevin Havener, an Edgewater resident who often commutes via the Red Line, contacted me to share a message he sent to the Transit Authority, to which he says he never got a response. He claimed that the Witnesses' practice of offering literature inside L stations violated a guideline in the agency's rules of conduct, warning against the distribution of written materials on CTA property. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Whoa. I find this inexplicable permission deeply personally offensive. Havener's message read, would the CTA allow other religious evangelizing groups, such as Orthodox Jews or Buddhists or Hare Krishnas? Of course not, they wouldn't. Havener eventually revealed to me that he has a horse in this race. About a decade ago, he and other members of the Buddhist Peace Fellowship, an activist group, wanted to hand out leaflets inside the Fullerton L stop in Lincoln Park. When they asked the CTA customer assistant for permission, they were told they needed to be out on the public sidewalk far away enough not to block any station doors. That made perfect sense, and that's what we did, he said. There they are. The J-dubs, poor deluded, deceived buggers. It's so sad, isn't it? Still, it was an interesting question. Is the CTA giving the Jehovah Witnesses preferential treatment by allowing them to camp out in stations? No, according to the agency spokesman Catherine Hosinski, the protections afforded by the First Amendment prevent the CTA from regulating the content of speech that is distributed in the unpaid area, regardless of whether it is religious, political or social, or espouses a particular religious, political or social viewpoint. Hosinski directed me to guideline number 23 of the CTA's Rules of Conduct, and it was clear that Havener hadn't read the document carefully enough. Distributing of advertisements or any other written materials or soliciting or petitioning is indeed prohibited on trains and buses, as well as in the paid areas of stations. But under the rule, it's permitted in the unpaid areas as long as it doesn't impede pedestrian flow. So not only can religious groups evangelize inside stations, but the CTA even allows people to offer commuters flyers for appliance sales or hip-hop shows within L stops. Martin Radish, a Northwestern professor of constitutional law, told me this policy departs from a ruling in the 1992 Supreme Court case, the Society of Krishna Consciousness versus Lee. There the court found the Hare Krishnas could not do outreach within New York area airports because airports are not a traditional public forum. It's clearly better that the CTA is erring on the side of allowing free speech, Reddy said. Of course, if the speakers start harassing people or not taking no for an answer, you've got a different situation. Even Tom Cara, director of the local chapter of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, which advocates for the separation of church and state, agreed that the CTA's rule seems to be kosher. We look at this the same way as we look at a public street, he said. Obviously, people are allowed to stand out on the street corner and hand out literature if they like. If the CTA has established this space as a public forum, then the public appears to be legal. Cara compared the situation to Daly Plaza during the holidays when, in addition to the city's official holiday tree, different groups have been permitted to erect a creche or menorah or star and crescent. Freedom from Religion puts up a 9-foot banner celebrating the winter solstice and the 1791 ratification of the Bill of Rights and a lighted A sign, the international symbol of atheism and agnosticism. But if it's okay for anyone to do low-key evangelizing or handbill distribution within the unpaid area of a CTA station, why does it seem like the witnesses are the only ones taking advantage of it? And why did the Fullerton station attendant tell the Buddhists otherwise? First off, Fullerton attendant likely just didn't know the rules, and based on a talk with Paul Smith, the coordinator for Jehovah Witnesses Bible literature displays in Chicago, it appears that the keys to being allowed to evangelize are being familiar with the rules, consistently showing up at the same stations day after day and maintaining a pleasant demeanor. Smith said the witnesses have been turning up at L stations on a regular basis since 2012. He said his organisation, Chicago Special Metropolitan Public Witnessing, coordinates in some 1,900 volunteers, some from as far afield as Indiana and Wisconsin, who distribute literature 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, at 19 different locations. The majority of these are downtown CTA and metro stations, Navy Pier, the UIC Student Centre, and the L stops at Midway and O'Hare are among other locations. I've recently spotted witnesses at the 95th Dan Ryan and Wilson Red Line stations. Facebook friends told me they encountered the snappily dressed evangelists at the Kedzie Pink Line and Montrose Brown Line stops, as well as the metro station near Irving Park and Pulaski and the Jefferson Park Transit Centre. Gee, they get into it, don't they? Smith explains that neighbourhood congregations have taken the initiative to staff these and other locations independently on a more sporadic basis. Smith said the organisation has never formally requested permission from the CDA to conduct what he calls Bible education work, but volunteers usually approach the station attendant to tell them what they're up to. We want to make sure we're in compliance with any laws, but also exercise our legal right to publicise our faith. One of the reasons that the CTA and the police have been so good to us over the years is because we're not aggressive. Smith added, we're not going to shove a piece of literature in people's faces. We're there if they want to talk to us. That doesn't mean that the volunteers don't occasionally get static from train riders. When you put your faith out there in a public setting, some people are going to disagree with you, Smith said. Some do it more vocally than others. We have the right to exercise our religion and freedom of speech, but everyone around us does too. So that's just part of the deal. Well, what do you think? Should this cult be allowed on the streets? Now, I wonder what this is. Oh, that's advertising. Okay, this is Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, New South Wales, Australia. Bye for now. Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.